Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I wanted to talk about something that was in the trailer that a lot of people are really excited about, and that is the new super walkers that seems like are going to be getting even more enhanced. And so yeah, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. I also wanted to note that they actually updated their artwork online on the Walking Dead official accounts. It's now officially all about the Book of Carol, and I'm really happy about that because it really still felt like we were at the very end of like the Once Who Live era, and I think a lot of people just want to move past that now and just like focus on the new spinoffs, focus on a new story and etc. Right? And so to actually see the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon here, to see the artwork up for season 2 is definitely very exciting. And I also see here from @AaronsArm The Walking Dead on Twitter, The Walking Dead actually reposted this, and it says the Once Who Live era has officially ended as @WalkingDead_AMC theme has been changed to The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, and then hashtag the Book of Carol. So yeah, definitely really exciting, and I can't wait to see all the promotion that they're going to be doing for this show here. The show is going to be premiering in less than 2 months now, and literally in 2 days from now, once it's August 1st, we're going to be able to say that technically Daryl Dixon season 2 is premiering next month. And so yeah, just finally we can talk about the show, right? Because it's actually going to be premiering very soon, and now we're in this new era of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2, which is likely going to be the new era until like what, December, January, around there, and that's when Dead City season 2 will take over. And yeah, I mean, at some point they're going to be announcing a new spinoff, I'm sure, or something else like that. So, but before we talk about some specifics of what happened in the trailer, I do actually want to focus on what Nicotero said about changing the rules of the walkers, because I feel like that's very important to actually focus on first. And he did say that changing the rules is good to do once in a while, because there's like burners, because obviously in the trailer we see that there are glow-in-the-dark walkers, and also Nicotero did say that we're supposed to get trained to Busan walkers, which is like absolutely insane, because those zombies anyways in Train to Busan are really like that's kind of where I wanted The Walking Dead to go. And when that movie came out, it honestly was exciting to see a zombie story told in that way. And you wanted walkers like that, or sorry, zombies like that, or I guess no, you want walkers like that on The Walking Dead. Like, just because it does change all of the rules of survival, and that's exactly what Nicotero was saying, is like, if you have walkers that can run like that are very aggressive, like, you're not going to be able to just like hide in a building and like hide behind a door and like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that change because of that. And I'm just thinking of like all the moments throughout the series where, you know, they were just like, honestly, literally like any moment where they're just like walking anywhere and they're able to just like walk by the walkers because the walkers are so slow and they could just kill them, and it's really easy, right? Like, they're really just like, they have it down now. They can kill walkers like nothing, right? And if you actually think of the opening minutes of Daryl Dixon season 2 episode 1, Daryl built that little machine there where obviously the walkers are connected to it, and it's used to train Laurent. Well, if you have these variant walkers out there, or the super walkers, then that's not really going to help, because that rope is just going to completely rip apart, or maybe the variant walker just ends up going right through the rope. I have no idea, but the rules are going to change here, and I do wonder if people are going to have issues with this. I personally don't. I really am all for this. I think that walkers, you know, I think that it's fun to have the classic walkers, and I don't really want that to ever change, because that really makes The Walking Dead The Walking Dead. But I think changing the rules here and there, especially after, you know, years and years of having the same walkers, I think that it makes sense. And I'm really excited that, like, honestly, with season 1, getting that variant walker was the most exciting thing that's really happened to The Walking Dead, at least for me personally, in years. Like, really, I guess since the Whisperer arc, because the Whisperer arc, when that was first happening, I was so hyped for that. I knew it was just the Whisperers, but it was really cool to see Daryl and everyone else's reaction to like the evolution of these walkers, and they were just like, wait, what is going on here? That was so fun, and obviously it ended up just being people. And so I'm looking at, you know, what happened afterwards. They kind of experimented with it a little bit, you know, in later seasons, but really it was Daryl Dixon season 1 that gave us the first like variant walkers, where we had the burners there, which obviously are just like very normal walkers, but if you touch them, like, you can get burnt, right? And so I think having these different variations, and also the super walkers, which obviously I think a lot of people are going to like, I think that it's totally fine. And so definitely let me know if you do have an issue in general with them changing the rules and all that. I would like to know, and like, I am very curious, because I haven't really seen a lot of it so far, but I'm sure that there are people that don't really like the idea of, you know, these I guess super walkers. Now in the trailer, we actually have shots of people getting, I guess they're probably shot with the serum and they're turning into the variant walkers or the super walkers, walkers, because we have this shot here of this person here. There's actually more than one person, but this person right here specifically seems like he wasn't a walker, but whatever serum that Madame Genet has developed with her scientists can just turn people into the variant walkers immediately. And so it's kind of interesting. I mean, obviously I could be wrong with this. Like maybe this was a walker already, right? And so we just had like a walker there or whatever, and then they injected the walker with some of the serum. But it seems like this person was already alive and then got shot with the serum and then it eventually turned into like a super walker. And so if they do go down that route, I mean, that makes it really, really dangerous, because you have to avoid completely getting shot by that. Like, it's not even just the walkers. Like, it's literally like just avoid all gunfire from Madame Genet and her group, right? Like, I don't know if it's going to necessarily be that. I mean, you got to remember too, it's not going to be just like machine guns shooting in one direction, right? Like, it's just like one bullet or something that they have that basically has the serum in it, right? And again, it's very possible that the person has to actually die first in order to, you know, turn to the variant walker. Like, there's some specifics with it that I'm hoping they get into in this season here. There's a lot of shots of these super walkers actually running towards, I believe this is the nest. I have no idea if it is, but this is going to be a lot of fun. Like, getting a lot of scenes like this where you see the variant walkers running at them and them having to hide and all that. I wasn't sure that they were going to reveal this in the trailer, but the fact that they did, this builds up so much hype for the season. Like, I'm so excited for Daryl Dixon season 2 specifically because of this scene. We also have glow-in-the-dark walkers, and I don't know if there's anything special about these walkers, but it's possible that these walkers are failed experiments like the burners, because that's the one thing that was sort of different about the burners compared to, you know, the super walkers, was that they were failed experiments. At least I'm pretty sure that they were. And if they're not, I mean, that should definitely be the story, because I think them being failed experiments makes it a lot more exciting, because you're just going to have these different types of walkers out there that, you know, obviously do different things. And the glow-in-the-dark walkers, I don't know if there's anything special about them. Maybe the burner walkers aren't failed experiments, but the glow-in-the-dark walkers, that makes a lot more sense. I mean, I don't know what the substance is that's on them. Like, it's kind of hard to say what this is specifically. I don't know if you guys have any predictions on that, whether it's just something that's maybe in the cave, you know, that just sort of got on the walkers. It does look like Daryl is in a sewer, so whatever this is maybe is related to experiments that eventually just sort of went into the sewers and all of that. And I think it makes sense. Like, it makes sense that these would be failed experiments. And I also want to point out that it is really interesting that Madame Genet is just so successful with this. Like, she's actually been very successful with her super walkers and all the experimentation that's been done by Pouvoir, right? The CRM, they're not at all. And I don't know what her and her scientists are doing that the CRM can't do, but it really is incredible. It really is. Like, the CRM, yes, they were looking for a cure more than trying to, you know, create variant walkers or use walkers as weapons, right? But I really do believe if Madame Genet wanted to, she could probably come up with a cure for this, because it just kind of seems like her scientists are like the best at doing this. And it makes me wonder what else is happening in the Walking Dead universe that's sort of related to this, because there's that whole meeting, obviously, that happened in the very beginning of the apocalypse with the conference in Ohio, and you had a lot of people from Madame Genet's group that were there. I'm assuming that the CRM were there. It seems like there was people from the Commonwealth that were there. And again, this conference could have been just about, you know, different walker types and all of that. And it seemed like they were all trying to figure some stuff out, but then obviously, I'm assuming they all lost communication with each other as something happened, and now Madame Genet has actually been very successful in what she's doing. And I think that's one of the things with the CRM as well that I hope we do get in the future, which is more of a focus on some of the scientist stuff, you know, because like I feel like we really focused on the military stuff a lot. But if you think about World Beyond, that was really focused on a lot of some of the science and stuff like that, you know, behind, I guess, trying to find a cure and a lot of that. And yes, they were using the cure stuff, and some of the testing and all that they were doing was more, you know, used as a weapon to sort of control population and all that. But there's a lot more story here. There's a lot of things that if we put everything together, we're all going to be like, yeah, this part's missing, and obviously Gimple has the answers to that. And that's why I'm really excited about Daryl Dixon season 2, because if you watch the opening minutes of the premiere, Carol actually learns from the mechanics at that shop that Madame Genet, I mean, she doesn't learn the name of Madame Genet, but she learns that France had ships that went there, or at least there was one ship that went there, and they wanted American walkers, which is very curious. You know, like, why do you want like American walkers specifically? Does it have to do with some of the conference stuff that happened in Ohio and some of the information that you learned there? Were you trying to do this originally and it wasn't working? Like, I'm just really curious on all the research and all that the scientists were doing, which I imagine because we got that scene in season 2, episode 1, that we probably will get more answers to that this season. Because remember, that post-credit scene with the variant walkers, Walker and a lot of the stuff that we learned there, like literally about the conference in Ohio and all the connections to America and all of that stuff there was literally a tease for Daryl Dixon on a show about the CRM. So there is some connection there still. It's just we don't know what specifically yet. And I think it is probably more that they all knew of each other because they were at the conference, but it really is nothing more than that. We'll have to wait and see though. So definitely post all your thoughts down below. What are your thoughts on these variant walkers that we saw in the trailer for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2? Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.